Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 6 of Drivecast. Once again, we are playing the original Gran Turismo. And I know I just did an E3 centered video. It was a Press the Action Button podcast with Eric, but I had talked to my friend Dalton, who always does Drivecast with me, and a bunch of other things, and he said he wanted to talk about E3 as well. So let's do that. So, what all conferences did you watch, for starters?
Mainly just Sony's and Bethesda's, honestly.
You didn't watch...
I saw a little bit of Nintendo, I would say.
Yeah. Okay. With Nintendo, there's really only one thing to talk about.
Smash, you mean?
Yeah. It was all Smash. Let's load my game. I think it's on memory card, too. God damn it, it's not recognizing it, is it? God, the game's still fucking loud as shit. Yeah, my problem with Nintendo, and I said this on the other podcast, was that all they really showed was Smash.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I was like, aren't they going to show something else? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I expected it to more be about, like, a majority of other games, and not just Smash the entire time. I mean, I kind of figured they would show Smash for a
Yeah.
long time, but not, I didn't really think it was going to be that long.
Yeah, that was my big takeaway from it, is Smash looks cool, don't get me wrong, Smash looks cool as shit, but would you spend, 25 to 30 minutes of your 40-minute presentation on one game? You know, that's way too long.
I was expecting to see more. I was expecting to see gameplay of Metroid Prime.
Yeah, we didn't hear anything about Metroid Prime at all.
Yeah, like I was really expecting there to be something there about Metroid. But
I forgot to turn off an analog again. I always forget that the PlayStation 1 does that. Or the PlayStation 2 does that. When you put a PlayStation 1 game in it doesn't automatically turn on the analog control. So it'll default to the D-pad.
Yeah.
This time trial's gonna suck.
Back when the freaking PS1 controller didn't even have any.
Yeah, the original PS1 controller did. In I want to say 1998, they got the DualShock 1, which was a vast improvement.
I used to always turn off analog when I was a kid playing like first-person shooters. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I don't know why. But it's all hard.
Yeah, I can't play it without analog. At least not this game.
Oh, did you watch all the conferences?
I watched Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, EA, Bethesda, Ubisoft, and Devolver Digital. I didn't watch the PC gaming show, and I didn't watch Square Enix.
Oh, okay. See, you guys didn't picture
Yeah, from what I gather, the PC gaming show and Square Enix really weren't worth watching anyway. That seems to be the general consensus. Is Square showed a bunch of the same stuff that other people showed, so it was kind of pointless, and the PC gaming one was long, slow, and boring.
Yeah, that's usually how it is. I remember trying to watch the last year's and it would just dragged on. I wasn't interested at all. Even I'm a PC gamer. I'm mainly a PC
I mean, obviously, I love PC gaming too. Like we played a bunch of PC games on the channel.
But just just how that part of the just how it's set up in general. It's just
God damn it! Can I turn the? Not right now. Okay. No, 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 no! God damn it!
I actually thought Bethesda's wasn't too bad. I mean, it wasn't as bad as that 1 year,
It wasn't as bad. It was better than last year.
yeah.
Last year was pointless.
Yeah, that was pretty stupid. It was really
I mean, they showed off like 2 new games last year.
Yeah, this year was pretty decent. I mean, they showed off a lot of stuff that I didn't expect to see.
Yeah. But Bethesda started off strong. Because they showed off,
Because, yeah, Rage 2 started the show.
yeah, they showed off Rage 2, and they started off with Andrew WK playing live. And I was looking at the crowd while he was playing live, and I'm like, have you guys ever been to a fucking concert before?
Yeah, I know, right?
Like, the crowd was completely clueless on it. Like, they didn't know what the fuck to do. Do I get any credits at all?
That's how people were when I saw him when he was opening for Sabbath. Everyone was just sitting there.
Yeah. God, can I turn down the fucking volume on this game, because it's still loud as fuck. I always have this problem with this, but like I can barely hear you over. Oh, I got a couple of viewers. Hello, viewers. How are you? I haven't played this game in a long fucking time. I don't remember if I can turn down the volume on this one or not.
At least they showed off the new Doom, or at least a teaser for it. That looked pretty cool. It looks like it's going to be just like how Doom 2 was originally.
Yeah.
It's not
There, I turned it down a bunch. Hopefully that'll help. I always have this problem, like, getting the right audio balance on these things, especially this one. I don't really have a problem with the other one so much, the Press the Action Button podcast, but I always have a problem with this one. But yeah, they started off with Andrew WK playing live, and that led into Rage 2. And I'm sure you caught this too, but the developer from Avalanche Studios was wearing a fucking Grave shirt.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing that.
And that was fucking awesome, because I'm like, yeah, that's awesome. I fucking love me some Grave. Badass Swedish death metal.
Representing that good ass death metal.
Yeah, old school.
Well,
Fucking love old school death metal, man.
yeah.
By the way, chat, I suck at this game, so and I haven't played it in a long fucking time, so bear with me. But then they started showing off. They showed off a bunch of Rage 2. It had a decent amount of time dedicated to it, and
Yeah, they're trying to push that.
I think. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say that I guess they're trying to push it more, considering that Rage wasn't as successful as like Doom, like Wolfenstein, or like at the time anyway. Like it didn't sell as much.
Yeah, when Rage 2 was announced, I liked the first Rage, but when Rage 2 was announced, people were like, "Why is there a sequel to Rage? Like, why is this even happening?" Like, people were like, "I barely even remember the existence of the first Rage. I just remember it being disappointing and stuff like that." And I'm like, okay, so they're really gonna have to push this hard and sell people on why this game exists in the first place. And for me, they did. But I was excited to begin with, but I thought the presentation looked fucking awesome.
Yeah, I thought so too. I mean, I like how they're really pushing, like, showing off the gameplay and just how the gunplay looks. I mean, that's the main point of the game, at least. At least they're showing that off, and not everything's just fucking like a theatrical trailer like all the time.
Yeah, it looks like you combine like old school driving combat games like Mortal Kombat with like the combat of like Doom, the Doom 2016.
Yeah.
Which I'm more than okay with that. And from there, they went on to talking about the sequel to Doom, Doom Eternal, which they're going to show off more of at QuakeCon. So I can't wait to see that shit at fucking QuakeCon.
Yeah, that's good.
So I'm really excited about that. It's doing what Doom 2 did. Someone interviewed one of the guys from id Software and like, so why aren't you guys just calling this Doom 2? And he said, because there's already a Doom 2. Which begs the question, why did they call the reboot Doom? But that's beside the point.
It's not cool to have numbers at the end of your game, I guess.
Something
Rare.
something like that. Then they moved on to, what was it, Wolfenstein next?
I can't remember. I can't really remember the order too well.
Because they announced 2 projects for Wolfenstein. And I haven't played Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus, but a whole bunch of my friends have told me that it was disappointing as fuck. So I've been kind of staying away from it, because
Yeah, I haven't played it yet either.
when people tell me that, hey, when so many of my friends tell me, hey, Josh, you're probably going to be disappointed by this, I usually am. They're usually right. Like, I trust these people for the most part. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I heard a lot of people saying the same thing about it too. So I know what you mean.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's an expansion that's got co-op play, and the getting co-op play is cool. I hope it's both couch co-op and online.
Yeah.
But getting co-op play is always cool.
Yeah, couch co-op's always the best in terms of multiplayer.
Yeah, it was you play as BJ's daughters, which okay. And it's set in the 80s. So maybe we'll get some rocket metal for like put some Van Halen in that shit.
It's gonna be like Nazi Van Halen and Nazi, like everything.
Yeah.
Like the 80s. And
Put some Nazi Van Halen and like Nazi like 80s priest and stuff. Imagine Nazi priest, like he's gay and a Nazi somehow.
It's like all neon Nazi, like synthwave shit, like aesthetic. Looks so weird.
Yeah. I think from what I gather, a lot of people thought that the plot seemed to go way too far out of its own way, like into stupidity land, while trying to take itself seriously, and it just didn't work.
Yeah, because like the New Order was like pretty balanced in that aspect, I think.
Yeah, the New Order was a great game.
I played that so many times. I love that game.
Yeah, it was awesome, but that's kind of what I heard is that it was just too stupid. Hitler is in that game for whatever it's worth.
I saw that scene on YouTube. I couldn't resist watching that scene when I saw the thumbnail.
It's and then they announced one other one that was like a VR thing where you like hop in between like different hack robots, the Nazi robots of the game, and use them to attack the Nazis or something.
Oh yeah.
You remember that? Them talking about that? It didn't really show off much of that, but it sounds interesting.
Like I heard that because it seems like Bethesda's really pushing their VR stuff. All their games.
Oops. Oops. Watch. I fuck up here. Can I try again?
Oh shit. Babe.
Yeah. Yeah. And there wasn't much pushing VR besides Bethesda this year.
Yeah, they were really pushing Fallout 4 VR a lot and
VFNR and Skyrim VR.
Skyrim, everything.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny that they acknowledged the meme, the Todd Howard meme.
Yeah, they acknowledged the Todd Howard trying to force people to buy Skyrim meme and putting it on everything. So it's like Bethesda acknowledged one of their faults and made a big joke about it, and it was actually pretty funny because they had the whole what's the actor's name? I can't remember. Michael something.
Michael, I think he's Key.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Key and Peele.
Yeah, I think that's him.
Yeah, he was the one. I always get their names mixed up, honestly.
And they had Skyrim on Alexa, which turned out to be real.
Oh yeah, I didn't know it was real.
Yeah, you can actually get the Skyrim app for Alexa now. I think it's free.
So it basically just turned Skyrim into like a text-based adventure in a way.
Yeah,
It's
and let you control it with your voice instead of like a keyboard.
Yeah,
I would actually be interested in trying that.
it does sound interesting though. I'm not gonna lie. And I know it's like a meme, or it's made for a meme, but
Yeah,
it is kind of like a novelty. It is kind of like interesting.
yeah. You can you can play Skyrim when you aren't sexy talking whatever FBI agent's currently listening to you on your Alexa.
Yeah.
Just to try to get them to stop. It's like, hey, baby, I know you're listening to me.
Somewhere out there, you listen.
Yeah. But. And then they really started losing me. Like,
Yeah. Oh, when they start talking about Fallout 76, you mean?
no, because they started losing me well before that, because they started talking about the MMO, and I don't give a shit about MMOs.
Yeah, I got lost there.
It was, but they announced the Black Marsh, which, God damn it, play the Elder Scrolls already.
Oh, I'm still playing Arena. My character's from the Black Marsh.
That the Black Marsh is where the Argonians come from,
Yeah, my guy's an Argonian.
and they haven't really visited the Black Marsh in any of the games, so that's cool, I guess, that they're visiting the Black Marsh. But
I tried playing that game and I just can't get into it.
But yeah, I just don't have any interest in MMORPGs. The only one that I ever played for any significant period of time was Ultima Online. And Ultima Online is older than you, I'm pretty sure.
Does it
It-
still have any servers?
Yes, actually.
Damn.
It came out in like 97.
Because I know about some like incidents on Ultima Online and whatnot.
I haven't played it. I barely remembered. I haven't played it in years and years and years. God damn it!
I mean, as for the well, a lot of the time was spent on Fallout 76, and as for that, I mean, it does look like a cool game, and it's a cool concept for that universe, but like that doesn't really tickle my fancy either. I don't know how you are about this type of games.
Yeah, I'm not into survival games at all. So you tell me online only survival, no NCPs. I'm like, I'm out.
Yeah, I mean, it looks so. It makes me kind of like disappointed in a way because I the game looked cool from like the gameplay I saw, but I'm not a big fan of that genre.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the environments are cool and it's a shame. I might try and play it someday just to see how it is.
Yeah, they spent a bunch of time talking about what the fuck is their card game, but Elder Scrolls card game that they do.
I can't remember what it's called either, actually.
Yeah, and I just don't give a shit.
Yeah, that wasn't doing it for me either. They also talked about a new like Elder Scrolls mobile game, and I'm like,
I'm like, this might be cool if you put it on a console with a fucking controller. But
Forgotten Elder Scrolls and Engage.
yeah, they should remake that game. God damn it.
Just try and port it to PC or something.
It's a full Elder Scrolls experience, lost to time because it's on the goddamn Engage.
Of Engage of all consoles.
Like, it's a more full Elder Scrolls experience than this phone thing is, because I mean, if you were to port it over to PC or something, it would play like Morrowind.
Because it looks a lot like that type of game in terms of Elder Scrolls games go. Just given the time it came out and whatnot.
Yeah. But the draw distance is ass on it. Like, oh my god, it's so shit. I was always impressed by the lighting in this tunnel when I was a kid.
That does look cool. This game does look cool.
It really did. This was mind-blowing when it came out.
Look at the texture on that car.
Yeah.
God damn.
But they talked about, like, we're putting Fallout Shelter on consoles, and I'm like, I don't give a shit about that either.
Yeah, I know, right? I tried playing that, and I'm not a big fan of those games either.
So it was like, so much of it's like, you've lost me, Todd. So then they're like, okay, now that we've gotten all that out of the way, let's talk about Fallout 76. And then I'm like, okay, finally, something I might be interested in. Then he said, online only, and I'm like, oh god, no. No.
Just when he thought the conference was over, he just dropped a bombshell of officially announcing Elder Scrolls 6.
And Starfield. But I can't get excited about that. Not because I don't want another Elder Scrolls. I love the Elder Scrolls. But because all we got was a fucking title screen.
Yeah.
It's like last year when Nintendo was like, hey, we're working on a new Metroid Prime. And that was all we got.
They just like to put that name out there and confirm that they're making
Yeah.
the hype train rolling. Because games are rolling around hype these days, and that's what sells.
I pissed off a bunch of people, like going on, like, I went on someone on Facebook, some Facebook page that I follow was saying, so what did you guys think of Fallout 76? And I was like, honestly, online only, no NC fees, all this and that. Gotta say, I was kind of disappointed. And people were like yelling at me for it. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, well, that's a big genre these days. A lot of people play that type of shit now.
I'm like, you don't have to, like, there's no reason to be rude because I gave my opinion in a respectful way. You know? Whatever.
And some people just don't, a lot of people don't know how to control their opinions on things like that.
Yeah. It is what it is. But I wanted to be excited for it. I really did.
I did too. I mean, because it does look cool. Like, the actual environments do look really cool. And
Yeah.
I think Sony's was probably, Sony's is probably one of my favorites.
Sony's show was both great and terrible at the same time.
Yeah. It was so weird.
It was great because the content they showed all looks fucking awesome. Everything they showed looks great.
Yeah.
It was terrible because the presentation of it all, fucking atrocious.
Yeah, because I mean, it started. I mean, the thing at the beginning, how the beginning was. I mean, it was a cool concept, and I like it artistically, like what they were trying to do. But it kind of ruined the flow of the conference in a way.
Yeah, because
Compromised that.
for anyone who didn't see it, they basically set up like this tent that was made up like a church.
Yeah.
And They started. They had a guy on stage play banjo. Oh, can I get first? Can I get first? Can I get first? Can I get first? Yes, yes. Give me first place. Yes.
There you go.
But they had a guy go on stage and play banjo, and then they started the thing for The Last of Us 2. And what it was it started in The Last of Us 2 started in a very similar place.
Yeah, it was like a recreation of the church and the trailer that they were in, basically. That's where the conference started.
Yeah, that's what it did. And I was like, okay, that's interesting, but
Yeah. And once that was over, there was a fucking like intermission, basically, to move all the people into the real conference area. So it kind of ruined the flow of the like. Basically, they had to pause the conference once it began. So it was kind of awkward.
yeah. So after The Last of Us 2, which looks awesome, by the way, it's gorgeous. And play the first one already.
Yeah, I know.
I keep telling you. You like horror games, you like good stories and good writing, you'll like it.
I know I will. I watched my friend play like the first like quarter of it, I would say.
It's really good, but they spent like 20 minutes shuffling everybody from one theater to a next, and that entire time they were just have this guy like sitting there doing this awkward ass interview where he was like, yeah, so let's talk about Destiny. Now let's talk a little bit about God of War. And there's like an expansion for Destiny coming out that they showed. And there's this thing for God of War. It's getting New Game Plus. I still need to play God of War.
I do too.
And they talked about a few other things, and it was like, okay, you're losing me. I'm cool. This game's getting New Game Plus. Can we please move on? So it was like,
Once it came back, how was that?
so it was like 20 minutes of just dead right in the middle of the fucking conference.
When that shit finally ended and they came back, I can't remember what they showed after that actually.
Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh, that's right, yeah. That looked really interesting too.
Yeah, and it started off with a guy named Cornelius Boots playing a woodwind, like, Japanese instrument. And this guy is like a grandmaster at this. He's one of the very few people in the world that has, like, he's dedicated his life to this fucking instrument. He loves Japanese culture and this instrument so much that he's one of the best and most respected players in the entire world.
Damn, I didn't know he was that qualified.
Yeah, he is. Like, look him up sometime. The guy's insanely talented on his thing. But a whole bunch of social justice warriors saw this and started crying foul immediately. He's like, why the fuck is there a white guy on stage playing a Japanese instrument? That's cultural appropriation. Could you get a Japanese guy to do that?
Yeah, I told you that they would get outraged about that. I was like, mark my words.
Yeah, fucking
Man,
stupid.
do it.
And people also got pissed off at Todd Howard because he said the word degenerate on stage. Like, he wasn't even using it in any kind of political context. Because he made this, like...
Can't even say that.
What?
Can't even say degenerate these days.
People think it's an alt-right term for some stupid reason.
Oh my god.
But basically, do you remember why he said it?
Yeah, I remember him saying that. I just can't remember the context anymore.
Because he said, he was talking about the Skyrim mobile game, and he said you can play it in vertical, when your phone's in vertical mode, so you can play it with one hand, while your other hand is busy holding coffee. Degenerates.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that now. Oh, that was pretty funny. I think I laughed out loud at that.
Yeah,
But
it was, but... And people got pissed off at him, and it's like, oh, Bethesda's alt-right? Now, like, how? How does that mark them as alt-right? And then there was one other point of contention with Social Justice Warriors, and that was during Devolver Digital's show. And they announced that an old From Software game that was a original Xbox exclusive to Japan was finally coming to the States as a remaster. And that was Metal Wolf Chaos. Are you familiar with Metal Wolf Chaos?
Oh, hell yeah. I'm surprised it's finally coming to the States, honestly. That came out of nowhere.
Yeah. Devolver Digital announced Metal Wolf Chaos is coming to the States. And the tagline that they gave for Metal Wolf Chaos was Make America Great Again. Which is so stupid and awesome that I love it.
Oh, man, it's great.
But it pissed off Social Justice Warriors because Trump exists.
Yeah, just using that phrase in general is like saying the N-word to some people. I can't believe.
Yeah, they think he's like a white supremacist or something. They're nuts.
Yeah.
I don't want to drag this into the realm of politics, but God, social justice, I would hate to live in that kind of life. Like, being offended by fucking everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, nothing better to do than just get offended by trivial things that don't matter.
Truly does not matter. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like when the new Deus Ex had that one promo still, or promo artwork where it was a bunch of protesters and someone had a sign that said like "All Lives Matter" or
Yeah.
something like that. Like really, like people are getting mad about even like that type of shit. It's so stupid.
Yeah. People thought it was like downplaying the Black Lives Matter movement or something. It was retarded. The whole thing was fucking stupid. But yeah, then they started showing off Ghost of Tsushima. I was a little bit surprised that Social Justice Warriors didn't call out Ghost of Tsushima for being a very Japanese game made by a developer from Seattle.
Oh yeah, I mean I wouldn't be surprised if they did.
Because that's Sucker Punch makes that game, and Sucker Punch makes awesome fucking games. They did Sly Cooper, and they did Infamous.
That shit's good right there.
Yeah, both of the two drastically different styles of games, both very, very good. So I have faith in Sucker Punch to make this game great.
They proved themselves.
Yeah, and the gameplay this was my favorite thing that Sony showed. Even with them showing more Spider-Man and The Last of Us 2 and the Resident Evil 2 remake and everything, this was my favorite thing that they showed. Ghost of Tsushima looks fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, I liked it too. It looked pretty interesting. That and the new From Software game had a similar.
Yeah, the Shadows Die Twice, Sekiro? Sekira?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. Shadows Die Twice.
Yeah, that does look pretty cool. I might pre-order that.
Yeah,
I might get that when it comes out.
that was on Microsoft's stage, I believe. And Microsoft, shame you didn't watch their show, dude, because Microsoft legitimately put on a very, very good one. I thought they had the best conference this year, legitimately.
I wish I would have caught that one.
And it's still worth watching because everything they show is going to come to PC anyway.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, even if it's on their Windows 10 store, it's still on PC.
Yeah.
For certain games.
Even Halo is coming to PC.
Yeah, it's about time. I mean, I know the original Halo was on PC originally, but...
Yeah, Halo and Halo 2 were both came to PC.
Oh, okay. Which is good. I mean, it's always good to see games come on one platform.
But Sony showed a bunch of cool stuff. They showed, obviously the Resident Evil 2 remake where they had the first-person perspective of the rat walking by an old television on top of a PlayStation 1.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh, yeah, that's so cool.
Oh, man, as soon as I saw that rat perspective, I was like, oh, that reminds me of the opening of Resident Evil Outbreak. It's the same type of opening that game had. I was like, oh, this gotta be the fucking RE2 remake.
And it was.
Yeah.
And it looks...
looked damn cool.
Yeah, I'm really fucking excited for that.
Hell yeah.
And the gameplay is fucking like. Have the Resident Evil fans been bitching about it?
Actually, I've seen almost universal like praise for it, honestly, which is kind of surprising. I'm actually kind of surprised by that.
I was expecting bitching because it plays like 4.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen the most bitching about just the changing of appearance, mainly from people. That's the main thing I've seen from people bitching about.
Yeah, people talked about how weird the faces. I thought they looked fine, but
Yeah, I thought they looked good. It's kind of interesting because they're actually the new costumes they're wearing are actually earlier concept drawings from RE2 that they're just using a different design they came up with at the time. So all the costumes are still original, like designs they just didn't use. They're still using content from even like the original version of RE2.
yeah. I should let's play the RE series sometime.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool as fuck.
Or like stream it. Like, have you here with me to make sure I don't fucking miss anything because it's easy to get lost and shit in those games.
Oh yeah, backtracking simulator.
They really were. Like the originals. Like I can play the fuck out of 4. I've beaten 4 like 6, 7 times, but the originals I haven't beaten nearly as many times. Mostly because of the camera. The camera annoys me, which is one of the reasons I'm so excited for this remake of 2. Is they're switching the camera to the over the shoulder that 4 and onward used,
Yeah.
and I'm excited for that. It looks awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm definitely that when it comes out.
Another game that they showed that really excites me is that game Control. It looked like kind of like a psychological horror kind of thing,
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
where the gun was constantly changing shape and shit.
Yeah.
That I don't know what that was, but that looked cool.
That looked interesting. I was intrigued by that the whole time I was playing.
Yeah, so I don't know what that was, but you have my attention. Speaking of things I don't know what the fuck they are, but you have my attention. Death Stranding. What the hell?
Stranding looks so interesting. I'm not gonna lie.
What the hell was Death Stranding?
Oh,
Like,
yeah, I love that type of shit.
I love Kojima and I have faith in him and I'm sure it will be good. But what the fuck was that?
That was so like I mean the actual like the gameplay looks like it's gonna be really stealth focused still, and it looks like it's gonna have a very avant-garde approach to gameplay.
Yeah. Yeah, the entire thing, it looked more like art than it did a video game or something.
It's very it really embraces the surrealism and the abstract. And I'm always about that sort of thing. So it looks like something that would be up my alley.
Yeah, which a lot of the Metal Gear Solid games have embraced, even going back to the original Metal Gear Solid on the PlayStation, had surreal elements to it.
Yeah. Because I know that Kojima really likes movies, so he's probably influenced by a lot of it.
Yeah, he's big into movies, like huge into movies. But that looks cool as shit, and I want to play that.
So that was near the end of their conference, from what I remember.
Yeah, they closed it off with Spider-Man, which looks awesome.
Yeah.
Really excited about Spider-Man. They're doing the Sinister Seven or whatever that group of Spider-Man villains is called, because you saw most of them in this gameplay footage, and they all look fucking badass, and I'm excited for that shit. Like, give me a good Spider-Man game, Insomniac. Something that isn't. Go ahead.
I used to love the ones from back when the Sam Raimi movies were still being made. I like
Yeah.
those old Spider-Man games from that generation.
Yeah, this one is not tied to any of the games, so
Yeah.
I'm expecting an awesome original story because Insomniac knows how to tell a story. You played Ratchet and Clank; they usually have pretty interesting characters and stories and stuff.
Yeah, they prove themselves time and time again.
and good writing. They usually have pretty good writing too, like very funny writing. They know how to do the sarcastic hero, which Spider-Man kind of is.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool. Think about it.
I screwed up a little bit here. Overall, so, I mean, once Sony got going, it got really good because the games they showed were awesome. The presentation sucked, but the games were awesome. So a lot of stuff I'm excited. Did you see the Cyberpunk trailer? Cyberpunk 2077.
I don't think I've seen the whole thing.
Oh, watch it. It's badass.
Because I've heard a lot of people getting hyped about that.
Yeah, like if you're a fan of Cyberpunk, it'll get you hyped up for sure. So if you like the Matrix and like I sent you Deus Ex, didn't I?
Yeah.
Like just sent you a disc copy of it that didn't have any kind of box art or anything.
Yeah.
I thought so. I thought I sent you that and Fallout 2. Yeah, that looks awesome. Definitely check out that trailer. So the new Assassin's Creed looks like it's going to be straight up RPG.
They're changing the formula as a whole.
Yeah, this looks like straight up like Western choose your path through the story RPG.
Damn. I mean, at least they're trying something new and not just doing the same thing over and over. It's just like how Call of Duty and Battlefield.
Yeah. Speaking of, Sony showed off Call of Duty on their stage, and that crowd did not give a fuck.
Yeah, that was so, like, just get out of here, Call of Duty. No one cares about your Royale mode.
Yeah, speaking of Battle Royale modes, EA announced that Battlefield's getting one as well. So, like, prior to that announcement, all of the Battlefield fanboys were taunting the Call of Duty fanboys like, ha ha ha, your game's chasing trends, it's getting a Battle Royale mode. Battlefield would never do that to us, and then Battlefield shows up at E3 and says, hey, we're getting a Battle Royale mode.
Because the trends say so.
Yep.
It was new and exciting just a year ago. Now it's already becoming wearing out its welcome.
Yeah, EA's conference was fucking weird, dude. Like, they didn't show a lot of gameplay. They didn't show gameplay of Madden. They showed a Madden trailer and with no gameplay. They showed a FIFA trailer with no gameplay. They showed a Battlefield trailer with no gameplay. They didn't have any on-stage gameplay demos except for one, and it was for a Command & Conquer mobile game, which, you know, fucking stabbed the Command & Conquer fans in the heart. They've been waiting years to get that series back. And yeah, and now it's a fucking mobile game. And they spent like 15-20 minutes doing this cringy scripted lines bullshit battle presentation of it. Yep. EA had the worst conference this year. I'll tell you who was surprisingly good was Ubisoft. Ubisoft usually isn't very good, you know? But this year, Ubisoft was... once they got past Just Dance, which started off the show, and they had this whole cringy dance sequence with this guy and what I could only describe as a panda fursuit. And like a bunch of people in like vibrant outfits and shit dancing.
They knew they had to get that shit out of the way first.
Yeah, so they got that out of the way first, and then it got a lot better after they showed off more with very little gameplay. They showed off more. What the fuck is the Beyond Good and Evil 2? It's been in development for fucking ever. It's been in development for like they announced that as an Xbox 360 game originally. That's how long it's been in development. And now it's like PlayStation 4 and stuff. And they didn't even show much gameplay, but they just had a CG trailer. But it's like, okay, it's nice to know that that's still a thing.
Metro Exodus.
Yeah, Metro Exodus looks amazing.
Yeah, 'cause I watched that gameplay trailer for that. That one.
Yeah, I'm excited for Metro Exodus. It looks fucking gorgeous. And the first two Metro games are awesome, so I'm really excited for that.
Oh hell yeah! 'Cause it's basically just it's like a more refined version of Stalker. I would say.
Soccer's more open world than the Metro series has been.
Yeah.
But Metro looks cool. They had an indie game. Like the best part of EA's conference was a couple of indie developers that went on stage, and they were nervous as hell. But what was cool about it was you could tell that they were genuine.
Yeah, which is you don't see that too often. These types of things.
Yeah, they were very genuine and passionate about their game. And it was Unravel 2, which is a sequel to that Unravel game that came out a few years ago. And then it was Sea of Solitude, which I couldn't really gather what exactly it is. But
It looked pretty cool.
but Sea of Solitude's worth looking into. But yeah, that looked cool. They showed off more Anthem, and I'm worried about Anthem. I don't think they're getting the hype for Anthem that they think they are or that they want.
Yeah, 'cause like that doesn't look like it's up my alley. Me personally. I haven't seen that many people get excited.
Yeah. Here's your big upgrade. No, I can't afford it. This is what you do in this game: is you buy a bunch of parts, upgrade your car to make it faster, and win more races, and so on and so forth. But yeah, Ubisoft had a good show overall. They have this space exploration and like space dogfighting kind of game called Starlink. That they're trying to take a bite out of the Skylanders pie with it because it has like toys that you scan in to play as different ships and stuff.
Yeah.
Which, you know, a lot of people see that as predatory, whatever. I don't really give a damn. But what was cool was the Switch version of it. Let you play as Star Fox.
Oh hell yeah.
So, hell yeah, I'm all about playing as Star Fox. That shit sounds awesome. Did I save? I don't think I did. But that's worth, if you haven't seen that, that's worth looking at. Microsoft had a lot of stuff that actually looked pretty good. They had Devil May Cry 5.
Oh, that's right. I forgot to mention
Yeah, which looks cool. Which I'm glad to get a Devil May Cry 5. I thought DMC just killed the series. They had what else did they have? I don't remember. My mind's gone blank. Oh, they had this. I can't remember the name of it, but they had this indie game that had like, it looked like a top-down Zelda game, but you played as a little fox. And I'm like, okay, that look. You give me something that looks like a top-down Zelda game, and I'm interested. Because I love the like. I think Link to the Past is one of the best games ever made.
that. Oh yeah. With you on that.
Yeah. Oh, I should say this. Sorry I didn't get to all of the conferences in a timely manner. E3 started on my birthday, June 9th. So, while some of the conferences were going on, I was at a baseball game with my dad and my uncle. It was a frustrating baseball game to watch because the Texas Rangers left 17 men on base and wound up losing a game where they should have curb stomped the Astros. Then the next day we had family dinner, and it was like a family birthday dinner, so I was doing that and couldn't get to E3 until later on after that. So sorry for not getting to them in a timely manner, but I did eventually get to them all. I was just dealing with birthday stuff, which takes precedent. Speaking of my birthday, I got a bunch of money, a pair of shorts, a t-shirt, Sad Weeks of Destiny on vinyl. That's Judas Priest. That's class. That's really, really good Judas Priest, too.
Hell yeah. Best album. Priest for me.
One of their best, at least. The Resident Evil Origins collections on the PlayStation 4, which is the PlayStation remaster of the GameCube remake of the first game, combined with the the PlayStation 4 remaster of the GameCube exclusive Resident Evil 0, and I'm looking forward to that because I haven't played either one of them.
Oh yeah, Zero good too.
And then I got, the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy for the PlayStation 4. And then I was, I'm really excited playing that and enjoying the hell out of it because I loved those games when I was a kid. Then after a few days after E3 ended, I was out looking at TV prices because I wanted to get a 4K TV. I want to eventually get an Xbox One X. So, because, two reasons. One, I need something that plays 4K Blu-rays, DVDs, and regular Blu-rays, and the Xbox One X will do that. Two, I already have a PlayStation 4, so getting a PS4 Pro seems a little redundant.
Yeah. See what you mean.
So I'll get the Xbox One X and get some like multi-plats and stuff like that for it. Because let's be honest, the Xbox One does not have many exclusive games that, yeah, are worth getting. It's got a few that'll probably be worth it, but overall, not that many. But I was looking at prices on 4K, and I was looking at Best Buy and a few other places, and the lowest price I saw was $450, and that's for a low-end model 4K with HDR. And then I went to Fry's Electronics, and they had one sitting out there that was refurbished. And refurbished usually means it'll work just fine, but something went wrong with it that we had to fix, and because of that, we're selling it to you at a cheaper price. It was like $375. It's $375 for 4K HDR TV, 55 inch. I'm like, well, I wasn't planning on getting the TV first. I was planning on getting both the TV and the console at the same time, but I cannot pass that price up. So I have a 4K TV now. And the only thing that I can use it with, the only feature with it that I can use is HDR, because every PlayStation 4 does HDR. It does not do, I don't have anything that'll display in 4K. And then after that, I went to a local thrift store and was looking through their games, and I found I found 4 Call of Duty games. I was like, well, if these are cheap, I'll get them. Because, I bitch about Call of Duty all the fucking time. But I was like, if these are cheap, I'll get them. And I took them up to the thing with a few other games. And I was like, how much for all of this? And it was less than $6 for 7 games. And those 7 games are Command & Conquer, Tiberian Sun, Star Wars X-Wing vs. TIE Fighter, Need for Speed Special Edition, the original Need for Speed, Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Call of Duty Black Ops, and Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. So I got all of that for less than $6. Yeah. People are like, so, Josh, why did you get that if you complain about Call of Duty all the time? Bitch, did you see the price? Yeah. Anyway, we should wrap this up, dude. Yeah, it's like 1:30 where you are. You probably got to get to bed anyway. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe down below. It'd be greatly appreciated. We'll talk to you guys next time. Thanks, everybody, and goodbye.